Congratulations, guys, you made it. This is the 12th and final module. I couldn't be more delighted. You might be asking, why is Jimmy showing his face now, right? Well, I typically show my face a lot of times, if I'm doing live sessions and things like that of that nature, just to concentrate on what I'm doing. A lot of times you won't see me because there's so much intense content and I have to look into the camera and I don't want to be distracted. But I'm always here. I'm very transparent. Here's my phone. You can call me. I'm not one of these guys that hide behind an email, okay? You guys who've been with me for a long time, you understand my modus operandi. I like the communication. I like the transparency. I like the connection. I like the face-to-face type of thing. Now, when we get to 1,000 members in the group, of course, I can't call everybody. I can't talk to everyone, but we're going to have another method where we do live webinars and things like that, conference calls where you can answer questions and things like that. But I wanted to show my face on this particular module for one main reason, because I want to talk about something very important. I want you to take your time and digest what I'm going to say. And it's called Integrity 101. Okay. Many of you who've been with me for about a year now, I thrive, and it's one of the greatest things about what we do here in our group and in our entire sphere of influence. We thrive ourselves on being people that are transparent and them that have we honor and respect them that have the integrity model in their business or lay the foundation with integrity and character, which is critical. I can't tell you how important it is. It's the foundation of how I built my business. I can't imagine building business any other way. All right. And you may be asking, hey, why is integrity so important? Just give me a few minutes. I'm going to explain to you what I think. I mean, and a lot of business people, no matter what they're doing, they may not have the same idea. They may not have the same mentality that we have. But if you're going to be connected to what we're doing here and to be a part of, our team, and you really want to do it, I believe, the right way, because there's a right way to do real estate and there's a wrong way. There's a right way, to buy franchises and a wrong way. There's a right way to build a company and there's a wrong way. There is. And, if you want to be a part of what we're doing here, we highly recommend applying some of these principles. And I can't make anybody do anything, but I just want you to know that that's how we operate, and everybody who's connected to me, as far as I know, because, sometimes you get a couple bad apples in there that you don't know, you don't get to know people until later on. But as far as I know, our core group, this is how we function. We function with integrity, character, and transparency. All right. And I want to encourage you guys to stick this thing out, to build your dreams, build your company, build your empire, and make as much money as you want to make. But the more people you help get what they want, like the great Zig Ziglar said, you're going to get what you want. What did he say? He said, help as many people get what they want. Help people get what they want, and you'll have what you want. Well, let me just add to that. The more people you help get what they want, the more you're going to get what you want. All right? And I'm a firm believer in serving, and I think integrity is the key to making it all work. So let's get right into this, okay? Now, why is it so important? Well, because you do business, and when you do business, business follows you, okay? What you do in business is going to follow you. And let me just stick a pin right there. You can do something 20 years from now, somebody's going to remember it. That's just how it works, whether it was done right or wrong. So, there's a law working in the earth, and I'm going to talk about that law in a moment, but you want to do things the right way, because, your name is on the line. All you have is your name. Do it the right way, and then you never have to worry about, crazy things happening. You really don't have to worry about that. I highly encourage people, because, when they do it the wrong way, they want to go back now and try to change it. Now, you can make modifications. You can repent and say you're sorry and all those things. But why not take your time and do it right? If it takes a little bit longer to find a good buyer's list, to build a good buyer's list, take the amount of time that you need to do it. That's what I would do. I would take as much time to build the buyer's list the right way, the legit way, without lying and, maneuvering, trying to cheat the system. Don't shortcut the system. I talked about that in another video. One of my lives, people are trying to shortcut. They're just trying to go on Facebook and they're trying to, they're posting in all these groups trying to find buyers. And 90% of the people that are in the Facebook groups are doing what you're doing. You're trying to shortcut it. You're trying to put out a free ad and you're trying to find, a buyer that can buy a $50 million property. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Now, can you find someone on Facebook who knows someone? Yes, you can do that. But the problem with Facebook is that there's very few and far between the people in there, very few people that operate with integrity. That's the problem. So you could be spending valuable time looking for a buyer when you could just simply place an ad, in a newspaper or one of the other methods that I teach and find a legit buyer, a real concrete buyer that has a bio, that has proof of funds, and they have a history of buying big time properties. But when you shortcut the system and you don't, you want to go out and deal with other people that don't walk with integrity, because unfortunately, Facebook is saturated with that in these free groups. You're gonna cause yourself to have a headache, all right? So your name is all you have. I teach this principle because, I become responsible for them that are taught by me and that do business with me, or with us. We are a family. I mean, whether you want to realize it or not, we're from all colors and walks of life, right? White, black. I have a lot of Hispanics in my group. I have people from overseas, from England, some from Africa, South America. I don't care where you're from. We all have to work together. Doesn't matter where you're from. I'm from the US, right? I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. But I want to be able to conduct myself and do business the right way, even if I'm talking to someone that's in Saudi Arabia. The principles are still the same. The laws that govern certain countries are different, but the structure and the foundation of integrity, how it works, is the same. All right? And you cannot buy yourself. You cannot buy integrity. It's either you have it, and that foundation is laid the right way, you don't have it. Period. Okay? Why do I believe in it so much? This is a big question. Well, Jimmy, why are you so by the book? Why are you so? Well, most of you know me. I'm a minister and I'm a spiritual man, and I do believe in the Bible. But I've applied the principles that's in that Bible, and I found out that the principles reign true. I've witnessed it myself, guys. You might be able to get away with things for a little bit, but there's a certain law that's working in the Bible. I'm going to go over in just a moment. Some people call it karma. Some people call it bad luck or good luck, right? You're going to get the results that you put out. Think about that for a minute. Good or bad? Let me clap right there. So if you guys do the right thing, good's coming. Now, can I promise you bad things are going to come? Can I tell you that? Can I promise you it's always going to be good when you do good? Not always. Sometimes when you do good, that seed goes in the ground. It has to be it has to germinate. It has to, that seed, according to the Bible, it has to die and then be buried, right, for a season. When it goes in the ground, it dies, it gets nurtured, and then it opens up and becomes alive again and begins to grow. Sunlight has to hit it, fertilizer, and then after a while, the seed shoots up. This is just a principle I'm talking about. So your bad deeds, if you're doing them in the dark for so long, eventually they're going to come to the light. Vice versa. When you do good, it may go unnoticed. You may still have bad things coming your way, right? But eventually, especially in business, I've seen this. Because remember, I always tell you guys, the business that we're in is the business of longevity. Real estate is not up one day and down the next day and sideways. It can be, but the one who endures to the end to go through all that and stick with it long enough, have that word called ability/sticking or stickability. That's the word I made up. You get the stickability, the longevity, you have the tenacity, you have the persistence. You add all those together, and it's gonna lead you to victory in real estate. But after a while, what you do is gonna come to the light, and the more good you do, especially toward other people, because I always say this: you're in real estate, you're dealing with real people, real businesses, real property, real contracts. You can't get away from that. You're dealing with real entities, okay? It's a people's business. And if you're dealing with people, you deal with them the wrong way, it's going to come back to you, all right? Here's the verse that I like in the Bible. It's in Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. It says, do not be mocked. God, I use the real name. The real name is Yahuwah. Yahuwah is not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, man or woman, boy or girl, child, whatever they sow, they're going to reap. All right. And I've seen it far too often, even in this business with the people that I work with sometimes. I've seen them come in and they've done the right thing for so long, and sometimes it looks like it wasn't working for them. But after a while, their business began to take shape, take form, and they lay that foundation with integrity and character, doing the right way and not screwing someone over on a deal. You do an assignment, and the assignment fee should have been $5,000 or $10,000, but they jacked it up. They're trying to get $25,000 on an assignment that there's no wiggle room. There's no meat on the bones. They tried to screw over the end buyer by 15 or 20,000, and they got the property and couldn't resell it. Those kind of things, you know, things that weigh on your conscience, even though you may not be spiritual as I am, or you may not be a Christian or a believer, or anything like that. You do have a conscience. You know right from wrong, right? And when you do those kind of things, you know, it's going to be on your conscience. When it comes up again later, you know, you're not going to feel good about it because you knew you did the wrong thing. But whatsoever you sow, you're going to reap, okay? Just like the seeds in the ground. You cannot plant a mustard seed in the ground and expect to get grapes a year later. Grapes are not going to come up. You're going to get a mustard tree. Well, in real estate, it's the same thing. You cannot structure bad deals and put together contracts and deals and to manipulate the end buyer to take all the profit and expect those good deals to come back your way eventually. You may get away for a while, but later on, it's gonna come back to you, and you're not gonna like that. So if you sow the seed, you know, of integrity the right way and doing things with a pure heart, you're gonna have more success in this business. I can guarantee it. I've seen big deals go bad because they had one bad grape in there, one bad apple in there, who wanted to do things their way. They didn't want to humble themselves and work in the conglomerate, didn't want to work with the system. And their modus operandi was to be arrogant, to be proud. And I see a lot of this with realtors a lot of times. I mean, I have a ton of realtors on my team. They're fantastic people to work with. Most of them are. But you have a few bad grapes in there. You know, it's their way or the highway. I talked about this earlier about one realtor on a $400 million property deal. He was the broker on the buyer side. The broker on the seller side, you know, and I was the guy, my team was the ones negotiating the deal. So we brought the buyer and the seller together through both these brokers, but the broker on the buyer side had a bad attitude. And so the 3% fee that was going to be paid on that to everyone in the middle was going to be about $12 million because it was 3 points. Well, he wanted 1.5%. So everyone on his side wasn't going to get paid but him. So he wanted everyone else to split. It was 3 or 4 in the middle here, and then we had 2 brokers, so it's a total of like 6 of us. He wanted to take half. He wanted to take $6 million, and he wanted everybody else to divide the other $6 million together. His problem was greed. Greed is one of the biggest things, guys, that will destroy deals. All right, and it's a lack of integrity when you see people do that. They want all for themselves, and they can care less about everybody else. And that deal went up in smoke, just like that. All that work, 3 months of work, up in smoke. All right. Now, I want to cover something really quick because you hear this a lot, and I'm going to stick a monkey wrench here because it's not. I don't totally agree with it because, again, you know, you're going to reap what you sow. All right. But listen to this. The golden rule that most people say is treat others the way you want to be treated. Right. That's what they say, right? But I found in this business, some people who don't know how to treat people right, they don't follow that rule. I mean, I said that wrong. They do follow the rule, pardon me. They do follow the rule, but the issue is if they're bad and they want people to treat them bad, what do you think they do? They just treat you bad because they could care less about how you treat them back. So that golden rule, I kind of back up from it a little bit. Even when, and here's the right way to look at it. You're gonna reap what you sow. So when everyone's bad to you, you don't retaliate with bad behavior. That's the hardest thing to do. When they're bad, you need to still be good and do it right. Well, people that have the wrong mentality and don't care about the golden rule, you know, well, they actually, you know, they treat people how they want to be treated, but they don't know how to treat people, and they expect to be treated horribly. That's why you have so much refuting, and you have so much, you know, trolling and those kind of things that you see on Facebook. You know, you have a disagreement with a realtor, and you'll be amazed. This guy's a realtor. They have brokers and all this, and they're cursing me out and treating me this way because they don't know how to treat people, and they don't have any concept of you know what, I need to do it right, no matter how negative people are. I still need to be positive. That's not how they think. They expect sometimes for people to treat them bad. All right, so that golden rule doesn't always work. All right, it doesn't always work, but the law of sowing and reaping does. So if you see somebody being nasty to you, you know, you can protect yourself. I didn't tell you couldn't do that. You couldn't hit back and say things like, hey, listen, stop disrespecting me, stop trolling me. You can stand up for yourself. But what I'm saying is, going tit for tat and becoming just as evil as them. That's what I'm talking about. You don't want to do that. I see that a lot in this business. And I'm going to recommend that you guys, get help. I mean, if you don't have a strong team around you to help you, with your customer service skills and things like that, if you're not a people's person, hire someone who is. It's going to help your business. It's going to help you function. It's going to help you keep a good mind because, the first thing that your mind gets attacked when you have all these negative things coming at you, especially if you're on social media. And if you don't have a good foundation, if you don't have a team to help you, it's going to be hard for you. It's going to be really, really hard for you. Now, if you don't have anyone that you can hire, then I highly recommend you start reading some books. All right. I always recommend 2 books off the top of my head. One is going to help you with your mindset. Okay. When it comes to wealth and abundance, how it works. And the second book is going to help you with how you treat people. All right. And before I talk about those 2 books, my number 1 book on top of that is the Bible, of course. The Bible has everything in it. I follow it to the T. It has the principles in it that I believe can help anyone create wealth and abundance and teach you how to treat people, how to treat your wife and your kids, how to build wealth the right way, how to do it with integrity and lay the foundation where it works. All right. So before I talk about the 2 books, let me just talk a little bit about my master mentor. I talked about him in some other videos. He passed away back in 1994. And his name was Reuben Williams. He was my grandfather. He was my master mentor of all time. Okay. And let me just tell you a little bit about his background. His great-grandfather was a slave. Okay. So as you know, slavery is real and it really happened. And his great-grandfather was one of the guys who dug the canals in Panama. And this man saved all of his money that he made because he was a slave over there. But somehow, even being a slave, he did some work in the Panama Canal where he was actually getting paid for it. It wasn't very much, but he took that money, he saved it, and bought some land in North Florida for the next generation. So he bought maybe 300 or 400 acres of land he bought. He bought this land, a slave, saved his money, bought the land, passed that land down the great-grandfather passed it down to the generations until it got to my grandfather. My grandfather took the land, cultivated the land, and here's where he was so powerful to me. This man had a 2nd-grade education. I'm sharing this with you that that integrity is real, character is real, and if you operate with these principles, you're gonna have the business, you're gonna have the fruit to show it. There's gonna be evidence of it, right? This man, and in the beginning, he did some things that he made some mistakes as we all do. But what stuck out with me the most with this man, 2nd-grade education, listen to the things that he was able to accomplish. He took that land, cultivated it, became a farmer, and had tons of crops. He had animals, so he had like a farm. We never had to go out and go get any kind of chicken or we didn't have to go get eggs. I'm talking brown eggs or white eggs. He had hogs and all that. He had he had cattle. He had everything pretty much. And he, not only that, but he had so many different crops where he could actually, he lived off the land, had 17 children, lived off the land, did the planting and all that, and then had enough left over where he could sell the remaining, like the beans and the corn and the sugar cane and all those things. And I remember several types of all types of fruit and vegetables I could not tell you how blessed we were as grandkids when we saw this. Not only that, but he was one of the first men in the 50s to build his own house, and he was a black man. So in the South, in an area in North Florida, that was a rare thing. He built the house. He was a master builder. He built his own house that he lived in, blocks, set the block, laid the foundation, put the roof on and all that, and had running water in the house. Now, my grandfather on my dad's side didn't have that. They didn't have a commode in the home. It was called a commode. That's the old word for it. But this grandfather did. Flush the toilet, running water, and he had the ability to put down pumps. Like he built this tall machine, 2nd-grade education, guys. He built this tall machine, about 15, 20 feet in the air. He hand welded it himself to pieces because he was also a blacksmith. 2nd-grade education, okay? He put on this mask. He'd sit there and he would he had the ability to weld things together. And he would tell me, don't look into the light because, if you look into the light when you're welding, it can blind you. So he had this little thing he covered his face with. And I watched this man weld things together, but he welded this big machine from his own mind. The Most High gave him the vision to see how to build it. He put wheels on it, put pulleys on it, put engines, the crank engines. He would sometimes get the engines from, little hand mowers, take those engines, put them on the machine. And this machine, when you crank it up, it would dig down into the ground and go like 100 feet in the ground and go find running water in the ground, sometimes 120 feet in the ground. It'd take like 2 weeks to put one of these down. He dug his own pump, put a pump, dug his own well, put the pump on top of it and had running water into the house in the 50s. And he did it for a living. He would go out and do this for other people and made a living doing. He would put down a pump, for one of his customers in like 2 weeks. He didn't stop there. He was a master builder, like I said. He built his own house. He built his own church. He built other properties. He was a genius in real estate. He would buy the property, own the property, build the property. He'd build on the property, build, a juke joint. A juke joint is like a place you go party, like a club. And he had several stores that he owned, built from the ground up. He owned them. He had his own tobacco barn. He would grow tobacco. Man was phenomenal, man. He was a cook. He had a master recipe for barbecue. And he was an amazing, skillful preacher. That's why I became a preacher. I saw him preaching, but he was fantastic. Second grade education, had 17 kids, and took care of those kids and took care of his wife. And she didn't have to work outside the home because, that was her job, taking care of those kids, right? And I just never seen a man that was able to do all that. And when he taught me how to go out and do things for how to work, I worked with him on the job. He taught me about work ethic when I was like 10 years, so I was between 7 and 10 years old. I went out with him because I moved from New York State, upstate when I was 7. I was born in New York, came to Florida when I was 7. And I lived with him. My mom and dad lived with him. And he took me out and taught me, how to have integrity, how to work for a living. So he never worked for anybody in his entire life. He was just a mastermind person. He could do pretty much any and everything. That's why I looked up to him. And he'd get up early in the morning and work all day. And he often went fishing. I was his downtime. I went fishing with him. But I'm telling you this story to let you know, because he had integrity and he honored the Most High, that honor was there at his death. And I still, to this day, he died in 94. This is 2019. I have and have had a ton of mentors in my life. My own biological father, who died 4 years ago, was not considered my master mentor. He was a good man, but my grandfather gets that title as my master mentor. And guys, he was my mentor because I saw the integrity in his life. All right? I can't be a master mentor to everyone, but I can be a mentor to some. But you can go out and find people like this. They're out there. I was blessed enough to have him born. I was born grandson to him, and he taught me how to do all this. And that's why I have so many companies today. That's why you see me be the man I am today, because there's no excuses. When you have integrity and you believe in yourself, there's nothing you can't accomplish. I'm a firm believer in that. And so, I urge you to go out and connect with other, realtors and wholesalers who have that mentality. And I pray that you guys can find at least one person like him. They may not be able to do everything he did, but I'm saying have the integrity, and they're self-starters. They are entrepreneurs. All right, trailblazers. And I'm sure some of you who are listening to this, that's what you are. And that's what influenced my life. I highly recommend, seeking out someone like that. I always tell you, 4 to 5 mentors is good. 4 to 5, okay? You need one that's, if you are really trying to get into fix and flip, pray and ask the Most High to show you where to find someone like that. And I talk about where to go find these people. Use Google. Google's your best friend. Just say, need a fix and flip mentor. Be very specific. Craigslist. Sometimes Facebook. Facebook's so saturated with other people, But if you do pay-per-click on Facebook, you can find them. But you need to find someone that does what you're trying to focus on. And before you work with them, test them out and see if they're people of integrity. You may not always know that until later on, because I got to see it hands-on. But you want that in your life because, you tend to duplicate what you're around. You're going to be as wealthy and as influential and powerful as your 5 closest, get this, your 5 closest associates. So you associate yourself with wealth and abundance. You associate with people who do things the right way, the right mindset. You associate people who are cutting edge, who think futuristic, okay? Software, they're on the edge of they're on the precipice of the great things that are coming. They have that mindset. Associate with those people. People that do things, you know, for the benefit of not just themselves, but for the entire team. Team associated folks. People not just about themselves. That's what he was. He was about, you know, building a legacy for his people. And he did that. My grandfather got an A+ in my book. And you get around that, you become what you're around. Again, the law of sowing and reaping. You're sowing certain things because you're around certain people, and you're going to reap from that same thing, that same atmosphere you're around, so to speak. I'm closing now, but you know, and basically, remember the eagle's mindset. I talk about the eagle. You have to have the eagle mindset. You have to be in the realm of the greater things. The eagle is it's an awesome animal, and it's an awesome bird. They hang out where only they themselves can hang out. It's such a high place where they are. And the other birds, no disrespect to them, but the other birds, they can only go so high. They can't fly as high as the eagle. If they do, the air is too thin. They can't breathe, right? That atmosphere is for the eagle. You have to have the eagle's mindset. Stay high enough where you're up there and you have a different level of authority, and you understand things differently, and you can draw from the greater things in life, and that's the place of vision. People of integrity generally have strong vision. The eagle can look down and he can actually see prey about a mile and a half away, and can plan to attack it. The smaller birds don't have the eagle's mindset. Here's the thing, when they go and attack, they descend down. Remember, I'm talking to you from a visionary standpoint. When you are a visionary, you have to think like an eagle. You have to plan for your attack. Your attack would be whatever your prey is, whatever your goals and dreams are, you have to attack them. You can't move slowly toward them. You have to aggressively get up and fight for it. With your life, get up at 5 o'clock. If everybody's getting up at 6, you get up at 5. If they're going to bed at 10, you go to bed at midnight. You got to burn it on the candle on both ends if you want success. You have to pay a price for it. Integrity is the foundation of it, though. Everything else will be built from there. That eagle scouts out what he's going to attack. If it's a fish in the water, he can go down and he can, by the time he comes down, and here's the thing. When you have vision, you have to accelerate toward it. That eagle can come down about 100 miles an hour and attack the prey, go right in the water, can see the fish, snatch up the fish, and just devour it because of the speed in which he's coming. You have to have the same mindset. Be so focused on what you're doing. Don't let anything get in your way. And he kills that fish by default of the speed, takes it, has a good meal. You stay focused, stay ahead of the game. When you see your prey, you attack it and kill it. When I say kill it, you capture it, you sign that contract, and you be like a bulldog. Don't let nothing stop you from getting to the closing table. Okay? And you win that way. Now, here's something I want you to know. The other birds in the other atmosphere, a little higher, they're a little lower, they're out there where the clouds are. If the eagle stops and hangs out with them, the eagle could be attacked and be destroyed. What am I saying to you guys? If you come down on that atmosphere and you start hanging out where the average people are, the people that are with the complainers, because some of these birds are complainers. These birds are jealous of the eagle, and they will attack him or her. Okay? And the dream killers hang out in the regular atmosphere. You're not regular. Guys, if you're watching this and you're on the 12th module, you are not average. You're above average. You are someone who I would say is extraordinary, uncommon. You're on another level like the eagle is, right? Don't let anybody slow you down when you're descending down on your target, because when you slow down, that's when the attacks come. You start looking at what everybody else is doing. You start trying to fit in with them. Their criticism and their observation of you gets to you. You become so edgy and touchy, and you become so emotional about it. You stop. When you stop, you get attacked, and your dreams are attacked. They start telling you, you can't have that. You can't do that. That's too big for you. That's what the regular birds will do. Meanwhile, the eagle is up there. He lives up there. He or she lives up there. They know what they could do, right? But you're listening to the wrong person tell you what you can't do. I'm here to encourage you. Don't stop at nothing. Clap it off, shake it off. Don't even retaliate. Just keep moving. Get your prey and get back up to the high place again, because to operate in the realm of the visionary, in the realm where there's vision and opportunity, and you know, I would say, for lack of better words, an open heaven where you can plan. Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You can plan and map out your whole vision, how you're gonna put together a definite plan of purpose, and you know, structure on paper how you're going to accomplish it. It's only just talk until you get those things, and then you execute as a visionary. You can't just talk it. You got to speak it, write it down, believe it, put the plan of action together, put together the team together, and get to work. Okay, that's what you have to do. And if you don't do that, you will eventually fail. You'll stop, because all those things are important. The software that you have access to, the people you're working with, people who are workers, your team, and all those things, right? If you don't do it the way I'm telling you to do it, it just won't work for you. I want to see you guys up here and stay there, okay? And make sure integrity is the key. If you don't do it because if you don't lay the foundation correctly with, you know, my dad was a master builder too. And he had to go dig deep in the ground to dig it, you know, dig a hole in the ground and put concrete in the ground before they laid the blocks and build it up. To lay the foundation, you got to dig deep to do it. The integrity will be the deep hole you're going to dig, and you lay the foundation by putting the concrete there before you put the blocks up. If you don't dig deep first, once the building comes up, it's going to fall back down again, guys. Get this. That's what normally happens. Okay, you have to be very careful there. All right. Now, in closing, I'm going to talk about the areas to watch out for, all right, where your integrity is going to be challenged. I talked about one of them, that's on contracts, but misrepresentation of ARVs. I see this a lot. Some people, you know, they'll send me some deals, and I can look at the deals. As soon as I look at them, I'm going, you know what? Because I know the area. ARV is like 50,000 too high, because they're just trying to make a sale. Watch out for that. Your integrity will be challenged there. Don't connect with other wholesalers who refuse to do really good ARVs and take their time and do it right. Don't do business with them. Say, hey, listen, you know, you messed up on this ARV over here, and you know, I'll give you one more chance to fix it. And after the second and third time, cut ties with them. Because when you get that property, and you guys, let's say you're joint venturing together, and you get the ARV, and you send it out to your buyers list, whose integrity is going to be on the line? Not his, yours, right? Because he said you some bad. He or she did not double check and evaluate the ARVs, sending you, you know, properties that don't make any sense. And I've been a victim of this. I got caught this myself. I was getting properties in, sending them out to the wrong people. And guess what? Sending them out to my buyers list, and I didn't check to see if the deals made sense, and it hurt my credibility. Don't let that happen to you. I'm a mentor to tell you don't do that. That's why I'm telling you don't do that, okay? Number 2, lying about having direct access to the source. If you're not the guy who's direct access to the seller or the seller's mandate, or buyer or buyer's mandate, don't get on a public forum telling everybody you're direct to seller. Don't tell your buyer's list that either. Your buyer's going, are you direct? Yeah, I'm direct to seller. And you're in a daisy chain. You're 3 and 4 people away. Integrity, guys, okay? Here's another big one here. Modifying the fine print on contracts. You get the contract, and because you're hoping that the person is not doing a lot of good reading, you know, the people you're working with, the contract, you go in and you manipulate the fine print on a thing. You know, you go in there, you take that part out. You know, EMD is refundable, and the big print and small print, not unless, you know, you change it and say, well, if this is not in place, then the EMD is not refundable. And they go in business with you, and the deal doesn't work out, and they want their EMD back, and you go, well, look at the fine print. You modify the fine print, and guess what happened? They lost their money. Well, you just lost your credibility. Don't do things like that, okay, guys? Don't have attorneys around you that are like that either. Don't have other wholesalers that are like that. Stay away from them, because your name, once you lose your name, it's the hardest thing to get back. Can you bounce back? Sure you can, but you don't want to have to bounce back if there's no need to. You don't want to create unnecessary drama for yourself and for your team, okay? Last thing is, and I see this a lot, circumvention of wholesalers. They do this all the time. You work hard, you know, or your partner, somebody in your team works hard. They get on the phone, they make the calls, you know, and they do because the vetting process, I talk about vetting as well, is hard. It's a 3-step process. You know, they get on the phone, you and your team, you blast an ad out there. Let me just walk you through the steps here. You blast the ad out there. You find a buyer. The buyer responds. The first thing you do is you shoot them an email and say, listen, if you're a legitimate buyer, here's the things we need. We need proof of funds letter from your attorney, a bank letter from the bank saying that you have these funds, from your bank manager so we can call these people, bank statement if possible, and a bio, okay? They give you everything. They send it to you via email. You got it. You review it. Second stage, you call them up and say, hey, listen, I got your docs here. This is really, really good. I like what I'm seeing here. And then you start talking to them. Hey, listen, I made the calls. Everything's legit. Can you give me 3 references? And on the phone, I'd like to, that second part, I always tell you guys, ask them on the phone so they can give you a name. If they're lying, you can kind of pick it up on the phone if they're not being honest with you. And they give you 3 references on the spot, and they email them to you, give you the name and phone number. You call the references. That's step number 2. And these people vouch for them. These other companies say that this guy is a real deal, right? And you look at his bio, everything's matching up. And then the third step is you say, hey, listen, I'll contact you back in 72 hours to see if if everything goes good here, the references check out good, we'll call you back in 72 hours. Everything checks out. They've went through the entire buying process, right? They're legit. So you have a legitimate, authentic, serious buyer. Now you're working with another wholesaler. Here's what I'm getting at. I'm closing. You're dealing with a wholesaler that's not honest. You haven't signed a non-circumvent with that wholesaler, an NDA or NDNC. And so you have the buyer ready. They have their seller ready. You give them the contact information for your buyer, and they circumvent you and cut you out of the deal. You did all the work. You vetted your buyer. I don't care if it's a $10,000 deal or $1 million. It doesn't matter. The integrity behind it is not there because the person decided that they're going to cut you out. Well, legally, because you don't have anything on paper, and I'm telling you guys in closing, never do business on a handshake. Maybe in the 60s that worked. That doesn't work today. There's too many people out to make a quick dishonest buck. In fact, I had a story. I tell a story all the time. One of my newest students lost money because he jumped out there and he started, he brought a buyer to the deal and the other person brought a seller, but the wholesaler he worked with did business with him on a handshake. The deal closed. The money went escrow. The other person took off with the profit. The profit was like $3 to $5 grand. It wasn't very much money, but he didn't get paid because he didn't have anything on writing saying that, they had a joint venture. Don't do business like that. So be very, very careful. And don't be one of the people that do this to someone else. Don't circumvent someone when you haven't paid the price. Sign documents with them. If you're not the head guy, you need to sign the document with them to make sure that when the deal comes together, no one gets screwed over. That's it. That's all I have to say. I think I told you enough. I think I said enough. Integrity is where it's at. Trust me, a good name will go further than you becoming a billionaire in this business. If you're a billionaire and you can't sleep at night, what good is that? What good is it? You guys have been great. I think the information that I gave you, you can take it and run with it. You can literally take your business from $100,000 a year to $500,000 to $1 million. And some of you are going to be billionaires. I believe it, because we have affiliates who are going to be promoting this all over the world. Because I want you guys to have good content. But the most important module that I treasure the most is this one I'm giving you right now. Do this business the right way. Apply all the principles that I teach. Establish great partnerships. Longevity is key. Have that tenacity. Have the courage to keep pushing. Don't quit. Keep moving. And I guarantee you're going to find success one day. Now, the 2 books I want to talk about before I let you guys go and say congrats on finishing the series. The first one is called Think and Grow Rich. I always recommend it to all of my students to read it at least once a year. Second only to the Bible, of course. But some of you are not spiritual. You want to read the Bible. I understand that. I read it all the time. But Think and Grow Rich, I would say, is the Bible for entrepreneurs who is the roadmap for entrepreneurs who are looking to understand how the rich think, how people who have wealth and abundance, they have that mentality, and how they function, how they actually did it. The book teaches you how the rich put together their system, because it is a system. Individuals tend to fail, but systems tend to work. it talks about the system that you'll need to put in place. All right? Who wrote the book? Napoleon Hill wrote the book. Napoleon Hill, look him up. Book's like 10 or 15 bucks. You can download the version, you can listen to the audio, or however, just get the book and listen to it. But he linked up, he connected himself with another wealthy man, Andrew Carnegie. He was in the steel industry, I think. And he gave much of his life up to follow Andrew Carnegie around, because Andrew Carnegie said, listen, I'll take care of your room and board, and I'm going to show you how the rich do things. I want you to write down everything I tell you to write down. And he took him for several years, and they wrote this book over a period of time. Well, there were some successful habits that every successful person follows. You need to go in there and see and read that book over and over again so you can figure out what they did to get the right mindset. I told you, the eagle's mindset is not the easiest thing, to think in that high place and operate that way. It's 95% mindset, guys. It's not necessarily the real estate that's going to make you wealthy. It's how you think. It's your view of it. It's your strategy. It's your modus operandi, how you do business. The mindset has to be right, and that book teaches you how to do that. Okay, the second book I'm going to recommend is it's a very powerful book. If you want to learn how to deal with people, you need to read this book. If you don't like dealing with people, I recommend you hiring a team of people that do. Because at some point, especially in real estate, you've got to deal with people. The book was written by a guy named Andrew Carnegie, all right? And it's called, I said that wrong. His name is Dale Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie is the rich, wealthy guy that hired Napoleon Hill to do the first book I talked about, Think and Grow Rich. This guy's name is Dale Carnegie. The book is called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Take your time and go and read it. He talks about the principles of how to deal with people, all types of people. You cannot run from your destiny. Run toward it. And I'm here to help you. You want more training and mentoring with me? You know, I'm here, okay? You can visit my website. As you can see here, if you want to join this program, if you're seeing this, you might have already gotten the program, but there's other people that may want it. You can refer them to this website here, JW Acquisitions and Development. And if you want to talk to me personally, let me move this down for a second. There is my email address right there. I'm here to help you guys, okay? I may not have all the time in the world, but I will help you with all the resources in my team, and we will come together and find a way to talk to you, okay? I like to do a lot of one-on-ones. I like to talk to you over the phone. If you need help with anything as far as getting on the phone with your clients, you need help with, cold calling. I do it now with my client, with some of my students right now. And I'm going to have other people as we grow to help you get on the phone and overcome the fears of building your business. When you go and you have a big list from script tracing, you need to get on the phone with these people, right? There's a way to do it. We help you write the script. We help you with all that. Whatever you need, we're going to help you with it, okay? I want you to be comfortable in yourself, believe in yourself, and take action today. Don't procrastinate. Again, lay the foundation with integrity. Let that be your building, how you build everything on that. And when your house begins to grow, your dynasty and empire begin to grow, it won't come crumbling down. You may have dark times. You may have times you may feel like it's not working, but I guarantee you it will never just fall to the ground because you get the foundations right. I believe in you. I really do. I want to see you make it. I want to see you do it on a level that no one has ever done it before in your family. Let's make it happen. Don't talk about being a miracle. Talk about a miracle. Just be the miracle. Help change someone else's life, You may not be able to do what I do and get on here and talk to tons of people, but there's a calling for you, and if it's in the niche of real estate, focus until you find it. Let's get this done, okay? I'm done now. And again, congrats. Pat yourself on the back. Clap. Because it's an accomplishment to get through these 12 modules. It lets me know you took 6 hours of your time to investigate and invest in yourself on what you should do to make your business better. I'm proud of you. You take care, okay? And I'll see you up here where the eagles are. I'll see you at the top. Bye-bye. Let's go get it. Great job. I love you guys. Bye-bye.